Hey there. In this video, I'm going to show you a workflow connecting Monday.com to CompanyCam with Zapier using 2 Zaps. Now, the way that this works is when you move this active deal from no stage to the 1 stage, and this can happen from any stage actually, when you move it to 1, it will create a CompanyCam project over here. You can see Matt Brown was just created. And once that project is created, it will send back over a link right here under this column that I have made. We'll refresh the page, and that should show up. And there it is. Now, one thing that you'll need to know is how to make the column that will have a link. So if you go over here to the end and add a column, go to more columns, and then scroll down to super useful, there is a link option right there that you can use. And then from there you can click here and rename it whatever you would like. Actually, just click right there and you can rename it. So however that makes sense to you, how you can communicate that with your team is what you can do. So jumping into the first Zap, we will, the first thing that you'll need to do is look up Monday.com here in the apps, which I have done. Select Monday.com, the newest version. And then for the trigger event, we will use specific column value changed in board. That's right there. You can see that's an instant trigger, and it did happen almost instantly. You'll choose your account. You'll sign in to your account here and make sure that it is connected. And then to set up the trigger, the board ID is going to be, in this case, deals, but it's whatever board that you'll be using. And then the column ID will be the stage, because that's what we're working with here. And then you'll test this to make sure that you get data from that board. And you can see here that all of the data that is sent over with that record. So this will be data that we can use in the following steps and the following actions for this Zap. So the next step is going to be using a filter to only send through the deals that are 1. Now you can set this up for however you want with your workflow, but for this example, we're using 1. So what we'll use is filter by Zapier, and that is typically over here to the right. Will show up. If it doesn't show up for you, go ahead and just search for filter. Look for the orange. That's usually the indicator that it's a Zapier app. And then you can continue on. And then you set up the filter by only continue if, and then you can type in status right there, and then text exactly matches 1. So you can type in whatever stage you're wanting to use for this, but again, we're using 1 for this. So then you will continue on and test it out, and it would have continued for this example. And from there, you will click this plus button. That's how you got this filter up here, is just click a plus button, and that will allow you to add an action. So do that once more, and this time you're going to look for CompanyCam, and then add project is the action event that we're going to use. Sign into your account. We'll now set up the action. And the way that you set this up is you'll click on the field, and you can pull in information from this original trigger. And for this case, we're going to use the event pulse name. So you can see that is the name of the deal. And then you can type in, what I did is I typed in a dash. We want some sort of space here. You'll see why we want that in a minute. And then I added the item ID, so we can look up that item exactly in the next Zap. But this will be the name of the CompanyCam project. And then you can fill in the street address for this one. And the way Monday.com works is that the entire address is put in right here. And this will actually work just fine for your team to use out in the field using the nearby projects function, the nearby projects tool in the CompanyCam mobile app. So once you've entered that in, that's all we need there. And you can test the project and it will be sent over. And then you can go into CompanyCam and check to see if the project was created like I did at the beginning. Now, the second Zap is triggered when a new project is created in CompanyCam. So this automatically happens, and same thing. Look for CompanyCam, and the trigger event is going to be a new project. Sign into your account, or choose the account. You probably won't need to sign in at that point. And then check to make sure that it worked and that we have the data that we're looking for. Continue on. Now, this next step is how we extract the deal ID from the CompanyCam project ID. So what you will do is hop in here, look for Formatter by Zapier. When you're looking for the app, it's the same as the filter in the first Zap. It's typically over here with under Format or Formatter is what you can look up. The action event is going to be text. And we'll continue to set up the action here. I'll need to click down here to have this show up. There we go. Split text is how it will be, and then we'll look for that down here. Split text is what the transform tool is going to be. Then the input is going to be the CompanyCam project name. This last part is important for the segment index. We choose last, and what that's going to do is pick the last value in that project name. So this splits up the project name into different values, and the last one is what we're looking for. So that makes it really simple. As long as you set up the initial Zap to have the ID, the deal ID at the end, it can easily find that, and we can move it on and use it to add the CompanyCam link. The last step is going to be changing multiple columns value in Monday.com. So you'll go through this and select Monday.com and then change multiple columns value. And here for the board ID, you're going to use the deals ID as before, and item ID is output. Now notice you'll need to go into this field and go to extract the deal ID from CompanyCam project ID. And then that output is what you want to use to get that ID. And then we'll override empty fields and we'll leave this false. And down here, there are a couple important things. To get this web address, you can just go to a project here and then copy this URL and bring it back in here and paste it. And then delete the project ID and replace it with this field by, same as before, clicking in here, go new project in CompanyCam, and that ID is right there. So then delete the one that's in this URL, so it would be that one, and replace it with the field. So every new one that comes in, it's automatically updated to the proper one as it creates that link. And then the text to display is what's going to be displayed in Monday.com. So I chose CompanyCam. You can do whatever makes sense for you, again, with that. But once that is made, then you can test it out. It will send it over to the deal. You'll see it populate in for your test data that you had there. And from that point, you can turn on the Zap and it will work. It will work just as in the example before. Now, I'm going to share the links. You can share these Zaps. And so I'm going to give you these two Zaps as examples to work with, and you can update them to fit whatever workflow you've got for your business. And then that'll be a great starting off point for you. Let us know if you have any questions about this, and have fun.